The SEC is set to decide on the Ethereum ETFs really, really soon. So what's going to happen? What's the likely outcome if they say yes, or if they say no? It's down from 90% in January as of yes to about 35% as of now here in May. So what will happen? What are the odds? What's likely? And if it gets approved, what are we likely to see? We're going to dive into that today. So welcome back to the Block Hash podcast channel. All right, I'm going to read through this article. I'll give you my thoughts at the very end as always. So here we go. Let's see, where should we start? The fate of the much anticipated spot Ethereum ETF hangs in the balance with a decision by the SEC expected in 3 days from you hearing this video. Cryptocurrency trader, Crypto Rover, founder of Crypto C, believes the market widely anticipates a rejection of the ETF. Excuse me. He suggests that this bearish sentiment may already be factored into current Ethereum prices. However, Crypto River argues that an approval could trigger a significant price increase for Ethereum, obviously, but we'll see what happens. Following the SEC's green light for 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs in January, market observers have been eagerly awaiting a similar decision for Ethereum. If approved by May 23rd, this would mark the launch of the first wave of Ethereum ETFs. However, several experts have expressed growing skepticism regarding the ETF's approval. Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balchunas has significantly downgraded his estimate of the SEC's approval chances from a high of 70% in January to just 35% here in May. He stated that our odds of Ethereum ETF approval by May deadline are down to 35%. I get all the reasons they should approve it, and we personally believe they should, but all the signs and sources that were making us bullish 2.5 months out for Bitcoin spot are not there this time. No, 35% isn't 0%, still pass, and long term, we think it will happen. James Seifert, another Bloomberg ETF analyst, also weighed in, noting the lack of activity from key players leading up to the SEC's May 23rd decision deadline. At the time of writing, Ethereum is trading at 31.1. So most of the industry is in conclusion that the SEC is likely to deny the Ethereum ETFs. But I want to pose an alternative route because I think this might be interesting. There's a BlackRock Ethereum ETF that's hanging out there and looming, and with their track record, it is possible that all these ETFs get rejected for some miscellaneous reason that the SEC comes up with. Gary Gensler is, pretty good at being arbitrary about the shit he comes up with. But they could do that, and then they could turn around and approve one of them and say that that's going to be the benchmark. There's a possibility that we do get an Ethereum ETF here in a couple of days, and it does get approved. Not saying it will, but this is just my opinion again. And that maybe sets the ceiling for what other asset managers need to attain to get their ETF. I mean, are you really going to deny BlackRock? I mean, the track record speaks of itself. It'd only be the second time in its entire history that that's happened for an ETF. And given the fact they were even able to push Bitcoin through was quite marvelous still. So I don't know. I have a little bit of hope that it's possible we get a little bit of saving grace with this while the rest of the ETF market is forced to refile and wait until other means. But the SEC can't just say no because we don't believe it should. They have to give reasonings for why so that they can refile. And the refiling will happen. And it's a matter of time before the ETFs get approved. And the SEC hasn't been very vocal as to what they want to do. That probably is a negative sign, but could it be good? Could it be the fact that they just want most of these ETFs to go down and refile and extend this out, but maybe they do let one go through? I think it's a possibility. It's 35% chance for a reason. That's closer to 50% than it is to 0. So I could still flip the coin and have a decent shot at something happening. Among all those ETFs, that's not a bad situation. Remember, they're not all the same. All the ETFs have slight differences to them. Obviously, the companies themselves and the asset managers, but some the way that they're being laid out. And maybe the SEC is not commenting as much because they did enough of that with Bitcoin for the Bitcoin ETF. Maybe the groundwork's already laid and they're just taking their sweet time before they make a final decision. So there's a lot of reasonings potentially for why we could still get an approval in a couple of days or at any point in time over the next couple of days. If we do, obviously Ethereum is going to have a heyday. It's going to go wild. And if it doesn't, I don't think it'll affect the industry in a negative way too bad. But I do think that it does set us back a little bit. I mean, I think people are really waiting on this stuff to come out so they can say, okay, how do we institutionalize and get more crypto assets legitimized in the market like we've done with Bitcoin? And that starts with Ethereum. If you can get Ethereum through the front door, everything else follows suit. So that's what I'd like to see. That's what I think will happen. But again, if we get approval, up and away for Ethereum, and it just opens the door, it just kicks the door right open for the rest of the crypto market to apply and to figure out what they're going to do. And I know they will. If it gets disapproved and denied, then it's just a matter of time. It's a waiting game. We have to wait for them to refile. We have to wait for the SEC to give comment on why they denied them, which they have to do legally. So these refilings will happen pretty quickly as long as these asset managers see the value. And I think they do, because Bitcoin has been tremendously successful as an ETF. That's my thoughts. Those are my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about a possible Ethereum ETF and other crypto ETFs that could be looming in the market soon. Like the video, share with a friend, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Cheers.